Are you tired of being a slave to your negative emotions? Tired of anxiety and depression calling the shots in your life? Well, get ready to regain control, because the ancient Stoic philosophers had profound strategies to conquer the turmoil of the mind. You see, the Stoics weren't just dusty old philosophers. They were psychological masters with a timeless prescription for unshakable resilience and tranquility. By the end of this, you'll have 10 powerful Stoic tactics to disarm anxiety, beat back depression, and step into your peak performance as a human being. Number 1. The dichotomy of control. At the root of so much mental anguish is the desire to command what you cannot. The Stoics realized that the majority of our anxiety and depression stems from investing emotional energy into factors outside our sphere of influence. As Epictetus said, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. You cannot control others' opinions, the economy, world events, but you can control your reactions, mindset, and intentional choices. The path to inner calm begins when you radically accept what you can and cannot change. Then, you divert your energy towards owning and optimizing your mindset and actions, the only things that will ever be under your control. When you halt the futile wrestling against external circumstances, you unleash your power where it can actually shape reality. Number 2. Negative visualization. While it may sound counterintuitive, the Stoics deliberately envisioned worst-case scenarios happening in their lives: loss of loved ones, home, wealth, you name it. Not to be morbid, but to prepare themselves mentally for any eventuality. By frequently meditating on the impermanence of everything external, they cultivated enough mental fortitude that no tragic event could break them when it inevitably occurred. Seneca exemplified this practice when he wrote, "We must get used to this thought, for every day when fortune chooses, she may enter and depart." So too can you use negative visualization to strip anxiety and depression of their teeth. Those dire scenarios you're catastrophizing about, face them head-on in your mind's eye. The more vividly you can imagine standing strong through them, the more you disarm their power to derail you when reality doesn't go as scripted. Number 3. Insecurity's secret source: ambition. So many are plagued by anxiety and depression, brought on by feelings of inadequacy and low self-worth. But the Stoics had an empowering antidote: ambition in the service of virtue. You see, Stoicism didn't promote the delusion of being special or superior to others, but it did teach cultivating your highest potentials as an upright, capable human being. Marcus Aurelius embodied this when he said, "What is not good for the swarm is not good for the bee." The Stoic path isn't about ego-driven achievements, but playing your crucial role in the greater good of humanity to the utmost. When you ambitiously pursue growth and positive impact, your anxieties and depressive thoughts are crowded out by purposeful action. Plus, you inevitably feel good about yourself as you progressively actualize your innate merits. Number 4. Self-denial rehearsals. While today's culture is obsessed with indulging desire, the Stoics went in the opposite direction. They deliberately avoided comforts at times. Why? Because they realized that intentionally becoming uncomfortable built resilience towards what life would inevitably deprive them of. Musonius Rufus taught going without a shirt in winter or wearing thin slippers against the cold, abstaining from delightful things. This fortified their self-mastery so that any external pains or lacks couldn't disturb their unshakable peace. So too can you systematically eliminate modern amenities and comforts to build your tolerance. When things get hard, you'll have the unflappable constancy it takes to thrive. Number 5. Mindfulness over judgment. One of the root drivers of depression and anxiety is our tendency to lapse into streams of negative judgment and mental commentary rather than just seeing things objectively as they are. The Stoics were adamant about developing mindful presence to overcome this. Seneca said it powerfully, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." When you catch yourself indulging in catastrophizing projections and mental drama, reroute your mind to precisely observe the bare facts without adornment. By mastering this, you starve anxiety and depression of their fuel, biased, uninvestigated perceptions. Number 6. Live through your highest principles. Much anxiety and depression arises from being untethered from any roots, just drifting and reacting to circumstances aimlessly. The Stoics had a remedy. Live in alignment with your deepest principles and values at all times. They saw upright character as the purest form of good that couldn't be impacted by external factors. As Marcus Aurelius advised, conform yourself to the discipline of reason with respect for nothing else. When you clarify your chosen virtues and ethical foundations, it provides an unshakable anchor. No setback or fluctuation can rock your spiritual center when you stand steadfast in acting with integrity towards your code. Follow the principled path, and existential storms may swirl but cannot capsize you. Number 7. Amor fati, the wholehearted yes. Many are thrown into depression or anxiety because they constantly resent and resist the path fate has dealt them. But the Stoics cultivated an empowering counterstance, the world-embracing practice of amor fati, or love of fate. Nietzsche revived this idea when he wrote, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different." This doesn't mean being resigned, but actively cultivating cheerful acceptance for whatever life has in store, the highs, lows, and everything in between. When you can love your destiny with open arms, you transmute misfortune into growth and maintain unruffled presence. Number 8. View from above for perspective. When anxieties and depressive thoughts seem all-consuming, the Stoics recommended zooming out to gain perspective. They urged periodically contemplating our tiny place in the cosmos to cultivate humility and realism about life's ultimate stakes. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Study the revolution of the cosmic cycles, then anything is bearable for you." By reminding yourself of your small part in the grand scale of space and time, you disempower moods and thoughts from ballooning further. You can meet difficulties with level-headedness when you recognize your minor role in the vast currents beyond your control. This cosmic perspective becomes a healing anchor point. Number 9. The inner citadel is unbreachable. While anxiety and depression can feel overwhelmingly invasive, the Stoics had a powerful realization. Your deepest well-being is impervious to attack from external forces. They cultivated what they called their inner citadel, the unassailable core of their judgments, virtues, and consciousness that could never be violated. As Marcus Aurelius affirmed, the mind has no place that mind does not go. In this way, it is the ruling faculty that makes every place mind-friendly or mind-alienating. No tragedy or circumstance could breach this internal stronghold that housed their sovereignty as rational beings. By grounding into this truth, your anxiety and depression lose their stranglehold over you. Number 10, the final gift to this moment. In the grip of anxious futuring or depressive rumination, it's remarkably clarifying to do as the Stoics did. Radically accept just this present moment in its rich, unvarnished actuality. Depression is usually rooted in the unchangeable past, anxiety in the speculative future, but the here and now is always available to experience with clear-eyed wonder. Seneca advised, "As soon as something happens to you, see in it the soul's opportunity and the essence of good." By tuning into the aliveness of the sensory details unfurling now, you reclaim your power from the mental whirlpools of suffering. With steadfast presence, life's turbulence resolves into a series of equanimous nows, each bearing the potential for wisdom and liberation. So those are 10 profound Stoic strategies to loosen the grip of anxiety and depression on your life. Timeless wisdom from ancient philosophers and psychologists to reclaim your unshakable peace of mind. For some of these tactics may feel deeply counterintuitive or uncomfortable at first. They fly in the face of our culture's coping mechanisms of avoidance, indulgence, and victimhood. To intentionally peer into worst-case scenarios, confront cosmic insignificance, or strip away comforts and consolations can seem like unnecessary self-deprivation. But that's precisely the point. The Stoics weren't interested in feeling good temporarily. They were focused on achieving an unbreakable fortitude and tranquility that could withstand any curveball life threw. By engaging in practices like negative visualization, self-denial rehearsals, and adopting the view from above, You disarm the power of external events to shake you, fortifying your reasoned choice and wisdom as the immovable bedrock of your identity, not impermanent circumstances. When lost loved ones, financial hardships, or any tragic loss inevitably occurs, you'll be able to embrace it all with spiritual resilience and the untrammeled ability to carry on, not slip into crippling anxiety or depression. As Seneca embodied, we must get used to this thought. Fortune chooses, she may enter and depart. Strategies like cultivating ambition in service of virtue, mindfully unhooking from judgments, and living by principles also shore up your locus of control. Rather than casting anxiety onto uncertain externals, you actively craft an ethos of growth, integrity, and level-headed perspective within your own sphere of power. As Marcus Aurelius taught, very little is needed for everything to be unshakable and pleasing. It lies all in how we regard things. When you reset your choices, character development and reasoning abilities as the core renewables, anxiety and depression lose their leverage. Your worth and inner equilibrium are defiantly self-sourced. And practices like the dichotomy of control, amor fati, and the final gift of presence counteract the mental restlessness and aversion to reality that spawns much suffering. By radically accepting what you can and cannot influence, along with whatever destiny arises, you cease draining your energies on the fruitless wrestling against the immutable. As Epictetus advised with peerless wisdom, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. When you wholeheartedly embrace this moment, exactly as it is, you become unconditionally available to life, not constantly leaking out through judgments, cravings, or fears of what might be. In this open, undefended presence, anxiety and depression are robbed of their nourishment from mental commentary and resistance. You become like a calm eye in the storm of cyclonic change, able to optimally respond with virtue and creativity rather than knee-jerk reactions. Now, do these Stoic strategies require immense courage, patience, and commitment to actualize? Absolutely. This path was never portrayed as easy. That's precisely why so few have embodied these teachings with integrity throughout history. To continuously face your fears, fortify your resilience muscles through self-denial, clarify and live by your deepest codes. This is an arduous, lifelong journey of self-mastery. But as Seneca reminds us, fire tries gold, misery tries the brave. If you stay devoted to progressively internalizing and embodying these timeless practices, you'll emerge as an anxiety-proof, depression-defying sage able to thrive amidst any difficulty. With your peace unbreachable, you'll unleash your highest creative powers to serve your values and humanity. So study these powerful 10 Stoic strategies. Adopt them into your life, not just as passive intellectual concepts, but fully lived and metabolized into the very marrow of your being. With courage and discipline, they can demolish any anxiety or depression that has kept you treading water, unlocking your fullest flourishing. Of course, some of these ideas may trigger initial resistance or skepticism. Question them, argue with them, try them on for size through direct experience. True wisdom wasn't descended from dogma, but from sincerely pressure testing what fortifies and frees the human spirit. In the end, the ancient Stoics offered a profound revolutionary framework, not for blissing out of reality, but for developing an unwavering, unassailable integration with it. A path of inhabiting your life with sagacious presence, bravery, and equanimity, regardless of fortune's boon or bane. The choice is yours. Will you continue sleepwalking, whiplashed from elation to anguish by external factors? Or will you undertake the heroic journey to reclaim your sovereignty and become anxiety and depression-proof? Embodying your highest potentials as an indomitable human spirit that circumstances cannot corrode or constrain. The Stoic path can be your winding road to that unconquerable freedom, inner lodestar guiding you through all storms. All that's required is an open mind and the willingness to dive inwards to rebirth yourself, like a phoenix from the ashes of fear and suffering. The remedy has been here for centuries. What will you choose? If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.